In this 2-week project, I wanted to basically complete my boyhood dream of becoming a rock star. There's loads of interpretations of that, but simply put, I wanted to see, could anyone get themselves up on Spotify? Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to make any money from Spotify, from Apple Music, from Deezer, from all the sites that I'm now on, but I can somewhat legitimately claim that I'm, at the very least, a music artist, now that I am up on the sites that even people like you at home can go and listen to. This brings me on to my next point. If you are watching this video without headphones, without good speakers, without earphones or something like that, then I'm really sorry, it's going to sound atrocious. I have not yet figured out how to master and mix music properly. So if you're watching this video on your mobile phone or on your laptop through their speakers, or somehow in your car through its speakers, I would recommend, but also request, that you go find some headphones, some earphones, or plug in your good speakers, because otherwise this is going to sound awful and it's going to not be a good use of your time. So I picked up the guitar when I was 5 years old. My first one was maybe this big, it was plastic, it was really colourful, it sounded awful, mostly because I was playing it. But it got me into music, it got me into guitar. And then we bought this one maybe 2 years later when I actually started taking lessons and I actually started showing some promise. I wanted to be a rock star. That's what I told everyone. You'll see me on stage, like Dave Grohl or Slash. And up until I was 16, that was the goal, that was the ambition. You know, and then you can almost plot on my timeline the year that I decided to go into engineering. I read recently that something like 80 to 85% of kids today are learning or trying to learn some sort of musical instrument. And that means that there are potentially thousands or millions of want-to-be rock stars in our youth. So that's the point of this project. Could anyone be a rock star?
On my own. The answer is of course yes. In 2 weeks you can absolutely learn how to produce music and get them up onto Spotify or all the other streaming services via all of the options out there. While I might not make any money on it, I like to think of myself now as a rock star, which is really cool. That's something that I've been wanting to say about myself since I was 5 years old. I didn't quite know the best way to show this project, so what I opted for instead is just a montage of the 5 songs that I produced over the course of 2 weeks.
Now, I actually made this video quite a few weeks ago, and it's only by watching it back that I've realised that I clearly omitted some key details. So I'm going to be popping up like a narrator every now and again, probably just in your right-hand corner. This is your left-hand corner. In your right-hand corner. So this is the retrospective narrator coming in to basically address all of the missing details that I really should have thought about at the beginning.
Hopefully you'll enjoy the ride. Singing on my own, and I'll put pen to the paper when I get home.
So, I've got the audio all set up stuff. Jesus, this is why you don't do it on a phone. I mean, like, I've got a splodge just here. I've basically got these 2 microphones here. I've got a lovely little guitar here, but I'm not plugging it in. I want to get it all naturally from the microphones. And there's a weird thing in Windows where you can't record from multiple things at once. But there's a really, really cool thing that you can get, which is called ACO for All, which I don't know if, which I've just downloaded. Well, with a little bit of jiggery-pokery, it basically means that I can treat it as though it's one audio device, but it can treat the microphone separately. So I've basically now got my audio recording set up, and now I can start making stuff. 1:27, which means I've been doing this for like a half an hour, like when I installed Ableton, and it's just gonna be so easy. Like honestly, look at this. This is what I've made. Having learned Ableton in the last like 2 minutes. God, this is just why is it so difficult? Obviously, we need other stuff on top of this, but. And maybe we can be a little restless. I know we can pass the time.
I'll hand my body over to your hands and have your body wrapped in mine. Intoxicating as your body is to me. Let's have another cup of wine. Cause I don't wanna spend my time without you. So then the time will be mine.
Before we go too far into the videos, I know you've seen my face and heard my voice a lot already as it is. What I want to do here is just give you a very, very quick walk around of Ableton, just so that you know what's going on whenever this thing turns up. Basically, there are 3 worthwhile components looking at an Ableton. There's this section in the middle, which is the tracks layered up on top of each other. This section on the right, which is all of those tracks, and you can basically turn these tracks off and on here. You can solo them, you can mute them, you can turn them up, you can change the balance from the left to the right, earphone, that sort of thing here. And the third panel that's going to come up quite a lot is this nice one, big one at the bottom here. This is where you just layer all of the effects on top of each other. So from left to right here, we've got the auto-tune on the left, then we've got a compressor, then we've got an auto pan, which is where it goes from the left to the right earphone, backwards and forwards. Then you've got a stereo widener, you've got delay, you've got overdrive, you've got an EQ. These are just all at the end of the day, it's quite a mute.
A couple of nights ago, finding mistakes to make, got new games to play, losing myself. One day I'll grow up, and I'll look back to the nights and sing you a song, singing. Girl, look at you, get me so hot. A couple of times I went out. A couple of times I went out, making a girl so hot, that I had to just go and never play. Oh, a couple of times I'd go out, finding mistakes to make and new games to play, losing myself. If only I knew, just might come to nothing. Times I go out, finding mistakes to make and new games to play, losing myself. One day I'll grow up, and I'll look back to the nights and sing you a song saying, ooh, ooh, ooh,
The general theme that I wanted to convey in this song is the relationship that I had with clubbing and alcohol and nights out back at university, and how my perception of these things have changed now by shining a light on what I argue was a ridiculous mentality way back when. Because arguably this is quite a challenging topic, and I also just wanted to get a little bit nerdy and go into the tech side of things, I decided to utilize the help of an AI lyric generator to inspire me. So the chorus that I ended up making had a combination of these AI generated lines that helped inspire some quite natural lines as well. What I really liked about this AI tool is that you could put in absolutely anything as a prompt, for example, hot coffee or banana or headphones or something like that, and you could get out some quite legitimately interesting sentences that you could then use as inspiration to construct your chorus, which is precisely what I've done.
I have discovered auto-tune. I'll give you an example. This is what it would sound like before.
oh, a couple of nights I'll go out, finding mistakes to make and new games to play, losing myself. One day I'll grow up.
Yeah, and then this is what it would sound like afterwards.
Oh, a couple of nights I'll go out, finding mistakes to make and new games to play, losing myself. One day I'll grow up.
This AI generated song is about coffee. So let's give it a go.
Hey Matt, how you doing? Yeah, we're going out to Moles on Tuesday. It's a gymnastics social if you want to come. I don't know, I guess like 8 we'll start preying and head over at maybe 11. You've got to get there before midnight to skip the queue.
Mate, come on, it'll be fun. You can even leave at like, I don't know, 2 or something if you really need your beauty sleep. That's a lame excuse, man. Come on, have a Red Bull or a coffee or something. Tell you what, first round of Jaeger bombs or a me? There he is. I swear, nothing too heavy, we'll just have a few drinks as mates, make a few laughs, and you'll be back to studying like a little nerd first thing in the morning. Sound good?
Said, son, slow down. A life is wasted when it's spent rushing around. See, Grandad, there are many things I know I need and want. An arrow in direction of wealth, safety and true love. Help me get there quickly so I can enjoy the high. He took me by the hand, he looked me in the eyes and said, son, slow down. Life is wasted when it's spent rushing around. Hurry and you'll stumble more, so sit back and relax. Once the time flies out the door, you'll never get it back. He'd say, son, slow down. You know he wouldn't want you anchored to the ground. Take it by the moment, not the year, that's how I found. That's what he thought life was all about. Singing on my own, and I'll put pen to the paper when I get home.
So pop songs, the ones that really sell, it's the same 3 chords over and over and over again. And the lyrics are pointlessly rubbish. The real magic comes in the actual production, the repetitiveness of it. 3 chords about the creative process being difficult. Right. So this was around about midweek 2. I had 3 or 4 days left on the project, but I'd only really come up with 2 songs at this point. At this point, my voice was breaking, I had a lot of blisters on my fingers, and my hay fever was absolutely atrocious. And I'll be honest, I was getting a little bit frustrated because I thought it would be easier, I thought they would sound better. I really meant it when the creative process was kind of irritating me quite a lot.
Easy enough getting to this point in life. How can these 3 chords inspire me to write another song? So lean into the border, that's where the work is done. cross-legged on my childhood bed, an apple laid out and yeah, singing on my own. Now put pen to the paper when I get home.
That I can make it on my own.
He said I'm high on life so I can take on the rest. You know I tried to slow down, but look at my best. I hope my friends all through when they're feeling impressed. And now I'm honest, I confess, I think I might be obsessed. He said there's stuff to do and it can only be me. I said you don't seem sure, or you're talking to me. Was it? Said this would be, I felt it would be easy. And I've got better things to do. I know I'm bound for a promotion. There is a holiday in June. I bet there's nothing left to hope for. I bet there's nothing left to do. Let's count the reasons to be cheerful. He said I'm high on life so I can take on the rest. You know I tried to slow down, but look at my best. I hope my friends all through when they're feeling impressed. And now I'm honest, I confess, I think I might be obsessed. He said there's stuff to do and it can only be me. I said you don't seem sure, or you're talking to me. Oh, if you're not consumed, then we should get that addressed. Fuck, I've said that wrong. Okay, that's cool. That's kind of part of the point there, isn't it? He said I'm high on life so I can take on the rest. You know I tried to slow down, but look at my best. I hope my friends all through when they're feeling impressed. And now I'm honest,
It only really sprung on me when I was submitting to Amuse that I needed some form of album art, and I was thinking about doing abstract pictures or a big picture of my face, but at the end of the day, what I really wanted to prove was that anyone could do this, so I spent about half an hour on GIMP, which is a free Photoshop software, and I made the absolute simplest album art that I could possibly think of, and yeah, it looks simple, but I quite like it. Ha! We're on Spotify. We're on Tidal. We're on Apple Music. We're on Deezer. Does anyone use Deezer? We're on Deezer if you use Deezer. I think I'm also on something called Claro Musica for any of my Mexican viewers.
Before this project, I had never used any music production tools or softwares whatsoever. For this, what I did was I downloaded Ableton and I used the free trial. I even checked with them and they said that it's absolutely fine to release music that's produced with the free trial because at the end of the day, it's still the music that you've produced, which I thought was really cool of them to say. I actually had ideas for like 15 different songs. I basically just went with the 5 that I had the time to produce to a level that I felt okay with.
I don't think a rap song is the right way to go.
For distribution, I used Amuse, or maybe it's amuse.io, I'm not really sure. But basically what they do is they distribute the music to Spotify, to Tidal, to Apple Music, to all of these big players, and then it's completely up to you to produce something that people might actually want to listen to.
maybe we can be a little restless. I know we can close the time. I love my body up to your hand time. Put your body up to mine. And in my heart, no one knows the like a chapter. But now we're saying our goodbyes. Cause I don't wanna spend my time without you. Spending my time with every night. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe.